Hey, shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. To all you brothers and sisters out there who are members of the elect, I want to say double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone, and shalom to all you elders, bishops out there. This is your brother, Elder Ayathon, back at you with another video. In this video, I want to focus on the Passover, but mainly I want to make you aware of the mindset, the gravity, the seriousness of the Passover. Now, some people may call it a Passover feast, so they may get the impression that it's partying. You should be partying, having music, dancing, just having a good old time. But that's contrary to the scriptures. So I just want to show you the events, go through a couple of scriptures, and then go through a couple of events that happened during the Passover, so that you can understand that the Passover is not an opportunity for a party, to party like it's 1999. It's quite the opposite. The last thing you should be thinking about during those times, or during that high holy day, is salvation, getting out of here, thanking the Most High Yahweh, His Son Yahweh Shai, for the deliverances, major deliverance of Egypt, and then the second deliverance of here in Babylon. But on the Passover, now we mainly focus on Egypt. So let me bring out here. The first thing we're going to do is let's bring out Deuteronomy 16. Which pretty much sets off the mindset that you should have on a Passover. So this is Deuteronomy 16. Excuse me, I'm going to start at 1. And it says, observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy power, Yahweh. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy power brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. And as you all may or may not know, it was a chariot of the Lord which led us out of ancient Egypt. And that chariot was Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Shai is going to come back again to deliver us out of modern day Egypt. Verse 2, thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy power of the flock and the herd in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. Verse 3, thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. Excuse me. Leavened bread, leaven means yeast, or yeasting agent, which causes the bread to rise. The Lord commanded us to not eat bread with yeast in it or a yeasting agent. Bread that rises, we're forbidden from eating that during the Passover, which continues into the feast of unleavened bread. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even a bread of affliction, for thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste. So the original Passover in Egypt, the first Passover, was not a night of partying. It was a night of haste. It was a solemn night. It was us making it by the skin of our ass, so to speak. So there's nothing to smile about, nothing to laugh about. And the events leading up to the actual Passover were scary. You had the plagues, and you had the final plague, which was the firstborn, which died of every creature in Egypt, which did not have the mark of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, which that mark on the blood post, the blood on the post represented Yahweh Shai, the blood represented Yahweh Shai. Okay. It says that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. I'm going to jump to the points that I want to... Okay. Excuse me. Let me just go find a verse because I don't want to make this super long. Oops. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Verse 7 says, here, let's start at 6. But at the place which the Lord thy power shall choose to place his name there thou shalt have the sacrifice, the Passover at even. All right. This is why the Passover starts at even. We call it the evening or the night of the Passover. At the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. Verse 7. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which the Lord thy power shall choose, and thou shalt turn in the morning and go into thy tents. Verse 8. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread. This is called the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which starts the very night of the Passover. That is the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It continues 6 days, so 7 days in total. And on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein. Now we bring this out all the time. I'm going to bring it out again. What does the word solemn mean? Formal and dignified, not cheerful or smiling, serious, characterized by deep sincerity. So not cheerful or smiling. Does that mean partying, having a good old time? No, because we just read that this Passover, the reason why the Lord commanded us to celebrate it through all our generations is that we remember the affliction that we caught in Egypt, and we remember the form and the way that we were, the Lord had delivered us from ancient Egypt. Okay? So it says, and on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein. Okay? Excuse me. So now let's fast forward to the Roman Empire. Let's fast forward to 33 AD. Okay, this is the year when Yahushua was crucified, murdered by the Romans on the cross. This happened on the Passover. Okay, this is why the supper is called the Last Supper. And at the Last Supper, Yahushua and the 12, they ate the Passover lamb. Okay, and on that day, which would have been the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Yahushua was crucified. Okay, so I'm going to go down to Luke 22. So this is like the main point I want to bring, because it's going to show you the severity, what happened on this particular Passover, and why this is not something that should be celebrated with joy and cheer. I have a couple videos and a couple scientific articles I'm going to bring out just to back up what the Spirit is going to have me say. So this is Luke 22, and I'm going to jump around verse 22. Now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover. Okay, this shows you right here what I've said, that the feast of unleavened bread starts the evening of the Passover. Verse 2, and the chief priests and scribes sought how they may kill him, Yahushua is him, for they feared the people. Now, the chief priests and scribes, they were a member of a committee called the Sanhedrin. And the Sanhedrin would be like, they were the governing body of the church during the Roman Empire. And they sought and gained many benefits from the Roman Empire. And their mission was to do away with Yahushua so that their place or their power would not be removed. Verse 3, then entered Satan into Judas, surnamed Iscariot, being of the number of the 12. Okay, and it shows you that amongst the righteous men, there are going to be spies and traitors. So let's jump down some. Verse 7, then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed. Verse 8, and he sent Peter and John, saying, Yahushua, go and prepare us the Passover, that we may eat. Verse 9, they said unto him, where wilt thou that we prepare? Verse 10, and he said unto them, behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall a man meet you, bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house which he entereth in. Verse 11, and ye shall say unto the good man of the house, the master saith unto thee, where is the guest chamber, where I shall eat the Passover with my disciples? Verse 12, and he shall show you a large upper room furnished. There make ready. Okay, now listen, brothers, put on your spiritual lenses right now as we're reading this, because the way this whole thing is set up, it was set up in the spirit and is representative to us gaining this knowledge that Yahushua gave us. right? They went to an upper room which was furnished. And they went and found as he said unto them, and they made ready the Passover. Verse 14, and when the hour was come, he sat down, and the 12 apostles with him. So this was when evening came. And he said unto them, with desire, I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say unto you, I will not any more eat thereof until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of Yahweh. So this was the last time Yahushua had a meal on this side. And this was a Passover, and he shared it with the 12. Verse 17, and he took the cup and gave thanks and said, take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of the Most High shall come. And this very act, this is going to be consecrated when Yahushua picks up the elect in the chariots. Okay, that is when the bride, that is when shall be, the marriage to Yahushua shall be consecrated. And the book of Ezra tells you that he saw a very tall man placing crowns, a young man placing crowns on the heads of the elect. And at that point, Yahushua will be able to sit down with them and drink wine again. Because that's going to be a major toast. Then is time for celebration. Until then, there's nothing to celebrate. There's nothing to celebrate or be happy about. We're catching hell. The book of Judges calls us a place of drawing waters. What is there to party about? Where the hell is your mind at? What is your mentality? Your mentality is likened unto when Peter saw the vessel. You know, he saw the vessel at four corners with a bunch of foul animals running around, which represented the mind of Israel, the Gentiles. I mean, that's where your mind is at. Verse 17, and he took the cup and gave thanks and said, take this and divide it among yourselves. Verse 18, for I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of the Most High shall come. Verse 19, and he took bread and gave thanks and brake it and gave unto them, saying, this is my body which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me. Verse 20, likewise also the cup after the supper, saying, this cup is a New Testament in my blood which is shed for you. Okay, so they sat down at a table, they ate meat, they had wine. This was representative, you know, the table represents your understanding and your mind. This whole setup, going in the upper room furnished with wine, Yahushua giving them the wine and the bread, saying that, you know, this is the New Testament in my blood, and the bread representative of his body is representative of Yahushua furnishing the table of our minds with him, with his spirit, with the understanding of these scriptures. This is why when he left, he sent them the Comforter. And this table being furnished with the meats and Yahushua there and giving them the drink and the bread and the Passover lamb was a spiritual representation. Okay? And remember, those 12 were the ones sitting at the table with him, because those are going to be the ruling bodies of the next kingdom, along with Yahushua. Verse 21 says, but behold, the hand of him that betrayeth me is with me on the table. And truly the Son of Man goeth as it was determined, but woe unto that man by whom he is betrayed. Then they started kind of fighting with each other a little bit, but I'm going to read down. You can read this, but I'm going to read down because I just want to. Here we go. Verse 28. Ye are they, speaking to the 12, ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations, and I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father hath appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 31. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee. This reminds you of what? John 17:9. I prayed for them. I pray not for the world. For when Yahushua prayed, he prayed for the elect men, not for the entire nation of Israel, and definitely not anybody outside of the nation of Israel. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not, and when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. Excuse me. Now, let me read down. Okay. So let's go down to 37. For I say unto you that this that is written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. Verse 38. And they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said unto them, it is enough. Verse 39. And he came out and went as he wont to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples also followed him. Verse 40. And when he was at the place, he said unto them, pray that ye enter not into temptation. Now, so far, brothers and sisters, as we're reading, does this sound like a party to you? Just ask yourself that question. Does this sound like a party or something to be joyous about? Having a good old time. Verse 41. And he was withdrawn from them about a stone's cast, and kneeled down, and he prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Remember, Yahushua was in the flesh. So he started feeling that anxiety and that stress from what was about to befall him, which the scriptures tell you that what befall Yahushua, no man on the planet Earth has ever went through that before. The embarrassment, the pain, the way he was marred up, no man has ever suffered that. Saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. Verse 43. And Yahushua was stressing so much that an angel appeared to strengthen him. And there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. So if Yahushua, prayed and the angel came had to come to strengthen him, how much more us? This is why Yahushua always stressed to pray always. Because Yahushua, if you are a member of the elect, Yahushua will send angels to strengthen you. Verse 44, and being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, because the clock was ticking. It was getting closer and closer. When you're about to get an ass whooping, and you're in your room, and your mom and your dad tells you, just wait in a room, and the time just starts moving very slow, really slow, and that anxiety is building up. And you feel you could hear your heart beating in your chest. Imagine what Yahushua was going through. And his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling to the ground. So this is how bad Yahushua was stressing out from what was about to happen to him, which was a treacherous thing. Now, what Yahushua experienced, there's actually a scientific term for it, and it's called hematohidrosis, a rare clinical phenomenon. So let me read. Hematohidrosis is a very rare condition of sweating blood. A case of hematohidrosis is reported. There are only few reports in literature. Okay? Hematohidrosis is a rare condition in which a human being sweats blood. Down here, now actually it kind of explained somewhere where it was. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I can tell you, but let me see if I can find it here. Hold on, brothers. Real quick. Give me 1 second, Slocky. It's not really what I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to just tell you because I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Hematohidrosis, also known as hematidrosis, all of these, is a condition in which capillary blood vessels that feed the sweat glands rupture, causing them to exude blood, occurring under conditions of extreme physical or emotional stress. This guy proposed another term because it appeared along with sweat-like fluid and blood exuded via the follicular canals. So Yahushua was stressing so much that his blood vessels burst and he started sweating blood out of his sweat glands. Okay? So I'm trying to show you, brothers and sisters, that this is what happened on a Passover night. The Passover night is not a night of celebration and partying and playing music and having fashion contests or bottle girls or strippers. All right, so let's read down. Okay, so I think I'm going to turn from here. And what else do I have here? What's this? Solemn. Okay. So remember, man, during this time, Yahushua was in the Mount of Olives, Garden of Gethsemane, which is, I believe, at the bottom or at the foot of the Mount of Olives. And Yahushua was shuffled around. You know, he was shuffled around. He had to go see Pontius Pilate. He had to go see, I believe, Caiaphas, Ananias, the high priest, or the ex-high priest, if I'm pronouncing his name right. He was shuffled around because he was on trial. So they had him basically walking all day, far. And you know they didn't have him on any kind of transport. He was a prisoner. So they had him by foot, walking around everywhere, you know. So let's read, okay, so this is the morning was come, right? So this is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, still the first day. All the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Yahushua to put him to death. So this is a Sanhedrin I was telling you about. And I'm just read down, brothers and sisters. So this is where they released Barabbas in lieu of Yahushua. And then, verse 27, and the soldiers of the governor took Yahushua into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. Verse 29, and when they had platted a crown of thorns, they put it on his head, and a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. And by this time, you know, Yahushua was, man, he was exhausted. He was fucked up, man, all right? And they were mocking him, and they put this crown of thorns. Now, plaited means to twist, you know, like when you have plaited hair or plaits in your head. Now, according to scholars, this is the plant they use. Is called the Euphorbia melilli, right? So as you see here, the crown of thorns, and this is what they put on Yahushua's head. They bend it or braided it into a crown, and they pressed it into his head. You know, they didn't just put on there gently. They pressed it into his head. Okay. And by this time, Yahushua was already messed up, man. You know, he had blood already on his garment and from sweating. Oh, man. So they said, verse 30, they put a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. Verse 30, and they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head, right, with the crown of thorns on it. Okay. And after that, they had mocked him and took the robe off from him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify. Okay. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name, and him they compelled to bear the cross, right? Now, I looked it up. When they crucified, number one, from what I read, they saying that scholars are saying that it was the norm. Very likely it was the norm that they would already have a cross already fixed in the place where they crucify you, which was outside the walls of Jerusalem. If I read correctly, it's outside the city walls. And they already have, they usually have the crosses already fixed. And then they would just carry you there and crucify you. Now, Yahushua, they say, could have been an exception where they actually made him carry the cross. Now, if you look up the weight of the cross, what is the weight of the cross that Yahushua carried? Somewhere here we go. It is believed to have been made of solid wood. So the whole cross is estimated to be over 300 pounds. While the crossbar is estimated to be around 70 to 90 pounds, excuse me. Now, you brothers out there that squat, 300 pounds would be about 6 plates. That's 345 plates on each side. And imagine carrying that. Now, the distance from the place of from the place where they condemned him, which would be, according to what I read, they said I was near the Mount of Olives, and then to the place to where they actually crucified him, which would be outside the city walls. Some say it's about a third to almost 1 mile walk. So he was beat up, no rest, shuffled around, and then he had to carry this 300-pound solid wood cross up to a distance of 1 mile to be crucified. So again, is this a night to be partying? All right, so let's go back. Okay, so then this goes into so verse 33, and when they were come unto the place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull, right? So as I said, that was outside the city walls, right? And now there's a section here I missed where they were hitting them with stripes. They were beating them with what is a cat o' nine tails, right? Now, what I want to do from here is I want to show you what the cat o' nine tails does to the human body, okay? Because Yahushua didn't have any armor on or anything like that. They hit his raw flesh with a cat o' nine tails, which is a whip, and at the whip this was a whip which was specifically designed to tear meat, to tear flesh. Okay, hold on a second. Slack it. Give me 1 sec. 1 second here. I got it set up somewhere. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to play these small videos for you brothers and sisters. Again, these cat o' nine tails, there were different types. There were ones with 3 tails, and then there were other ones with 9. And at the end of the whip, it was usually leather or some type of rope that was treated to be hard. And at the end of it, they would bind lead, glass, bone, anything that was sharp enough to rip through meat. And it would stand a nice distance, and they would get some speed and some air time, and they would hit the flesh and rip into it. And what they would do is beat you until you're inches away from losing your life. Okay? Inches away from losing your life. So this is what Yahushua had to go through on the Passover. All right, so give me 1 second. Let me cue this up.
To prevent mutiny and keep the crew under control, the captains enforced iron-hard discipline. They whipped men like William into shape. A lash of the rope was the brutal.
Right, if you're on a ship like the Victory, it's 800 men. That's 800 of these.
Okay, let me have a go. A flogging was a public event, and the entire crew was ordered on deck to attend. William and his fellow sailors had to watch as their mate was beaten to within an inch of his life. And then, straight back to work. Very satisfying, isn't it? Nelson may not have approved, but flogging was seen as the only way to keep a ship's crew under control.
Now, do you brothers and sisters see the way that cat o' nine tails was ripping through that meat? You see that shit? It would tear the meat, skin, ligaments. It would go into, sometimes it got stuck into your bone, and they had to tug it back to loosen it up, and then a big chunk of flesh would come out. All right? I got more videos. Hold on.
And beat him with it. Now what you have in this is a leather whip. This is actually an exact replica to the best of our knowledge. There's only one guy in the world who makes these. And you have lead weights, and then kind of cemented or molded into the lead weights are nails, pieces of glass, and bones. And this is what the Roman centurions would use to beat him, or anyone. Now, the severity is not mentioned in the Gospels. But we know, even from the practice and from history of what's described, that it was actually quite severe. When 1 Peter 2:24 says, by whose stripes you are healed. Actually, that word stripes is a word that's very descriptive historically, in that it describes a very severe beating, very deep bleeding wounds into the flesh. Just be thinking about which one you think might be worse, the 3 or the 9. So I'm going to demonstrate this for you. And remember that this is cardboard. Cardboard is much thicker than skin. With the 3. Now what actually happens with this one can actually be worse because it's lighter. The speed that when it hits is actually faster, and it can inflict more damage.
They would have put his 2 hands through these 2 restraints and stretched him out. If he was about my size, he would have been standing like this, hugging the post, unable to move. And there, one after another, 2 lictors with alternate blows, one from the left, one from the right, would have slashed his naked back as it was exposed, as he was flogged in shame and maybe even nakedness. Folks, this thing, I don't know if you can see it, is made up of leather straps and lead pellets, and there, welded into the lead pellets, are razor blades. And these razor blades were designed to tear the victim's back into bleeding ribbons of quivering flesh.
My name is Bella Yaga.
Whatever that was. All right, so you see that, right? You brothers and sisters. So again, I mean, there's not much to say. You know, I mean, I think the point is made. Let's read Deuteronomy 16:8 again. 6 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein. So brothers and sisters, I believe wholeheartedly that the point has been made that the Passover is not a night for partying. It's not a night to make light of. This is a very serious and solemn night, as you can see the events that transpired during that night when Yahushua was crucified. All right, so with that, I'm going to say shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kadash, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, shalom.